Hey guys, what's up everyone? This is the Shankopotamus, and as I'm sure almost the whole world has probably heard by now, Osama Bin Laden was killed by U.S. Navy SEALs in Pakistan, and that was last night Eastern time, or it was like 9 hours ahead of us when in Pakistan. But Obama made the announcement last night, and I actually didn't find out about this till this morning because I went to sleep really early last night. I went to sleep at like 10 o'clock, and I think it was around 11 that it happened. And I wasn't there to witness it, but when I woke up in the morning, I just turned on the news, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. There really was no evidence given that we're anywhere close to finding him. I actually totally had, like, I wasn't thinking about that at all. Totally didn't cross my mind. And he's gone, like, finally. And it's great that the person who's responsible for the 9/11 attacks has finally been brought to justice, because that was one of the worst atrocities ever on American soil. And I know that the entire country was definitely struck by this, but I think particularly the region that I live in, because I live an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour away from New York City. I live in central New Jersey, and a lot of people, not specifically in my town, at least I don't think anyone was, but in the neighboring towns, I remember seeing in the newspapers that a lot of people were directly impacted by the attacks. There were kids that had parents that were lost in the attacks. I mean, my mom used to work in New York City back in the 80s and 90s, and her building actually got destroyed. It was, I'm not sure what building she worked in. She worked in one of the buildings right next to World Trade Center. But back on the day when that happened, everyone remembered exactly where they were. I remember I was only in second grade at the time, so I didn't really have a complete understanding with what everything was going on. I just remember I was in my classroom, and I think it was after lunch or something, and the teacher called us over. One of the other teachers walked into the room, and our teacher called us over, and she was just like, 2 planes hit the Twin Towers in New York City. And I was like, alright, 2 planes hit it. It was like some accident or something. And that was all they told us. And I remember kids were going home. Parents were calling their kids to go home. They're like, time to get out of school. Or like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to comprehend it. And I just remember coming home on the bus that day, and when I came home, both of my parents, or no, my mom was home. My dad actually, my mom, I remember, was really scared. She had to go home from work earlier because my dad was actually in the air when that happened. They had to ground his plane. He was like nowhere. He flew from Newark or something, and I don't know where he was going. I think he was going somewhere out west, but I remember my mom saying how scared she was because my dad was actually in the air when that went on, which is pretty scary. And I just remember my mom was like really upset. We had the news on. It was on all day. That was a terrible, terrible day, and when I look back on it now, I really didn't comprehend what was going on. But when I see those specials, I remember, I think in 2006, the 5-year anniversary, that was when it really hit me of how bad that really was. And at the least, Osama's death is going to bring some closure to any of those people that were affected by it, and they can sleep soundly at night knowing that the person who was responsible for it was finally brought to justice. But I know there was tons of celebrations going on in DC and New York City. I was actually watching some clips of that, like, all during school. I was basically just on my iPod, just looking up all this stuff, because I woke up right in the morning, I saw it on the news, I was like, oh god, and it was time to go to school. So, I was on my iPod pretty much all day just looking up stuff. But in New York City, I saw they were chanting, I think they were singing the Star Spangled Banner. Outside the White House, there was tons of people partying. I saw it was all college kids in the video I saw. Then it was some old guy just like chilling with the college kids. But I think this sense of unity is something that America has been lacking recently. And it seems now more than ever, everyone in America is proud to proclaim themselves an American. And this is a great, great victory for America, but I know there's a lot of people from around the world that watch my videos, and this is a great victory for the world because Bin Laden was a threat to everyone. He could perform terrorist attacks anywhere in the world, and everyone was at risk. And now that he's finally been eliminated, the world is a better place, the world is a safer place. And this unity that I was talking about before, another example of it was one of my friends was at the Mets-Phillies game, actually. I think it was in Philadelphia. And when the fans found out in the 9th inning that Bin Laden had been killed, they all started chanting, USA, USA, just again and again and again. And I don't know, it's just pretty amazing to see 45,000 people all together cheering for one common cause, one common accomplishment. And it's just really amazing to see that I'm witnessing history right now. Like, this is going to go down in the history books 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now, people are going to be learning about this, that finally this man who caused this great tragedy in America and great awful terrorist attacks all over the world has finally been brought to justice. So it's definitely a great day for the entire world. But another big topic that came up was the potential for retaliation from Al-Qaeda to get revenge on the United States for killing their leader. And my personal opinion on this is that I don't think they're going to retaliate, because the fact that their most powerful, their most influential leader has been killed shows that any of them could be killed. And I'm sure they obviously know this going into it, but the fact that their greatest leader, their founder, because he founded Al-Qaeda, the fact that he is finally dead, I think they're just going to not mess with us anymore. Well, hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for, because I really don't want to see any retaliation and more loss of American life or more loss of life for anyone around the world. But hopefully they don't retaliate. Just everyone is gonna have to stay vigilant the next coming weeks and months, and I don't know, we'll see. Like, they could wait years to retaliate, so it's just something you really can't worry about. Just always stay vigilant, and especially when you're traveling abroad, because abroad, I know Americans are not liked, not only by, of course, members of Al-Qaeda, but there's a lot of people who think Americans are ignorant or whatnot. So just whenever traveling abroad or even within the country, just stay vigilant, and I think everyone should be okay. And although Osama was killed, there's still tons and tons of other terrorist organizations and other members of Al-Qaeda that could strike back. So yeah, the war on terror definitely isn't over, but this is definitely a great step to achieving worldwide peace for the future. And that's basically my take on the situation at hand. The gameplay you guys were watching, which really isn't important with the regular the situation the world is in right now. Of course, Call of Duty is not important. Like, everyone was freaking out over the PlayStation Network going down, when there are much bigger issues going on in the world and people that are suffering all over the world. So the next time you're getting upset over PlayStation, just think about the people all over the world who are facing hardships in their life every day. So what did I go in the gameplay? Let me just check it real quick. I went 46-4. It was on Summit. Gave you some of my opinion on Bin Laden and his capture and killing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, YouTube.